Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today's deck profile, we're taking it back. We're taking it to a classic. We're going to setcon. I know people hate this deck, but at the same time, it's like a necessary evil, I feel like, to power check some of these more abusive decks and to keep those in check so that way other decks can flourish. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at setcon. This is a more of a classic build. The super efficient. These are the cards that get stuff done, right? I've played a ton of setcon. Literally the only reason I stopped playing is because I actually sold all of my high rarity setcon stuff. And in doing so, I sold my top 4 chaos decks, not realizing that I never kept any of the lower rarity starter deck versions. So I actually kind of got rid of a lot of this deck on accident. So I haven't been playing it recently, which is why I've been playing so much War Greymon, but I have a ton of mileage under my belt playing setcon. So let's go ahead and jump into this and I'll tell you all about it. Also, if you guys want to go check out my Twitch page here, I've been streaming some Diablo 2 Resurrected as well as some Borderlands 2. I would just really appreciate some follows here. Just try to get them to that 50 so I can get that affiliate status. I'd just really appreciate that, guys. Just jump over there, link in the description below. Give me a quick follow, and yeah, I would just super appreciate it. As well as please like this video. Literally, the only thing YouTube gives a crap about is if you like this video. So if you like it, the video does well. All right, so as always, we got the whole deck profile pulled up for you guys so you can follow along with this, see what the overall intent is here. For the most part, a lot of this is just pretty self-explanatory. We got 2 cards at the end that are kind of talking points, as well as optional really good cards that you can just pop into the deck, and we'll talk about cards you can take out for them, as well as our Death decks and Ruin mode here. I don't recommend one of each. I'm very much a pick 2 and go with it sort of person. So that's what this is. That's why those are at one ofs. But we'll go ahead and do this card by card here. First up for our babies, we're rocking the 4 Upamon. I like Upamon the best here because whenever I'm promoting up my rookies at a raising area, that's usually my cue to attack with them, or I'm in a situation where I can attack with them. And typically something like a Salamon, you're probably not attacking with a Salamon if you have more than 3 cards in security. So Upamon triggering when you have 3 or less for that draw just lines up with Salamon a whole lot. We do have a 5th egg though, just because we are running 6 rookies here. So in the form of Tokomon, just because just have that extra one. This one also is really good. I know people that sometimes choose this over the Upamon. But your turn, when a card is added to your security stack, draw 1, which we do a ton of recovery here. This one's a really nice one to have under your Pillowmon, because your Pillowmon usually doesn't attack. It just kind of sits there in the battlefield. So having this a Tokomon under a Pillowmon is actually super good. Of course, the Salamon, like we already talked about, on deletion, if you have 3 or less, you get that recovery. This has pretty much always been the primary go-to staple for setcon. Just that extra bit of recovery is just so powerful. I've tried other things like the Harrismon with the tactical retreat, and it's a nice little engine, but it just never had that like power that Salamon had. Because Salamon, I'm usually getting a security check out of it, which feels good, as well as I'm getting like the on deletion, the when attacking draw 1 and the on deletion recover. And that recover is usually more powerful than just a Harrismon going into security. So yeah, Salamon, really like it. We're running it as a 4 of here. We do have the 2 Pillowmons. This is just the meta call here. Players can't play Digimon by effects. Leviamon is huge right now, right? Just absolutely everywhere. Even this hits Red Hybrid a little tiny bit. The ones that get to play a Flamemon for free suspended, I think that's what the Agunimon on deletion effect. So it turns off stuff like that. This hits Numemon as well because they like to play Digimon by effects a lot. So yeah, just a meta call is all this is. So this is very much a deck that you could just play forever, and then this is one of those spots that you can just kind of tech in and out stuff depending on where the format's at. So yeah, just a nice little include here if you ever go into those matchups. So just a 2 of. We have the staple Magna Angemon here. I did try cutting this for a time. I ran the well, I actually had a deck profile for it before setcon. It was about 2 months ago or so, I want to say. And we ran the new Angelomon from BT15 in it. But I really miss this. This card in conjunction with Flame Hellscythe always is such a good combo, which you can't use the Angelmon or the new Magna Angelmon with Flame Hellscythe. So I ended up cutting Flame Hellscythe, and yeah, I just miss this engine, right? So just that on play, recover 1. Even the your turn, this Digimon gets 1000 DP for every 3 cards in your security. Actually kind of comes up these days, surprisingly. So yeah, he's a staple. I tried it without him for a while. Well, not for a while. I tried it for a few weeks. I did try in a big tournament, and it just did not pan out for me. So back to the old reliable in this case. I am running for the new Magna Angelmon, though. Just a 4-play cost, recovery 1. Even if I have to lose the overflow, it still just equals out to the same cost as this Magna Angelmon. So it's not that bad. You just got to be kind of careful with it, because sometimes if your opponent does get that memory, overflow during their turn, it kind of sucks a little bit. But it is still a very powerful card, so we're still running it as 4 of. Of course, it does not combo with Flame Hellscythe at all, but it's okay. We don't mind it too much, especially if we can get our turn at 4 memory. We can play this, recover, and then we can Evo a Mega on top of it to pass turn. So it's a pretty nice target for something like that. Whereas the 7-play cost Magna Angelmon, you can't usually get that kind of combo off. So speaking of our megas here, I've got 2 Shadow Seraphis. I was running the regular Seraphimon from Vaccine Angels here for like a little bit more aggro, and I tried to make like a setcon like deck that was also some aggro to it, and it just didn't work out like I wanted it to. Like, you just can't beat good old classic just attrition value setcon, and that's what the Shadow Seraph is here for. So opponent's turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, de-digivolve 1, which is really powerful right now because it just hits so many decks. That de-digivolve so good. It's not once per turn either. And then on deletion, you get that recovery 1. Then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn for each card in your security stack. Just so gnarly. It's such a powerful card. So yeah, this is another one that's kind of like it's a flex spot. You could run the other Seraphimon if you want to, from the Vaccine Angels, but this is just a really powerful defensive choice. And we are back on the Venusmon. Again, this was another one. I tried to go with different routes, right, and change up my megas and see how it worked, but Venusmon is just too good, especially right now with there's just so much out there, right? So there's like Leviamon, that's just both of them have security attack bonuses and stuff, so they'll always be affected by Venusmon. So when Digivolving, you do that blanket security attack -1 to your opponent's whole field until the end of their turn. So even if they kill Venusmon or they DNA into something, that this is a blanket effect. Even new Digimon that come out, even if they have the rush, they hard play it, it's got rush, it has security attack -1 also. It's all their opponent's Digimon. So keep that in mind. And then opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon with security attack. It doesn't matter if it's a plus or a minus. Can't attack this Digimon and can't activate when attacking and when Digivolving effects. So just turns off some decks, like super hardcore, just turns off some decks, and just such a powerful card. Like, even if they've got other things, like other effects, they still can't attack Venusmon, right? So yeah, she's just too good not to run. So 4 megas here to go with our level 5s. It does feel a little light, but we're just running so much stuff right now that we kind of have to. Now, I did debate dropping a Magna Angelmon Ace down by 1 to fit in more stuff, which is a choice that you could go with, even if you want to like bump up one of your megas by 1. I think that's totally an understandable choice there. Now, as far as these level 7s go, talk about Shine Greymon Ruin mode here for a second. This card is stupid strong, especially right now. So when Digivolving, you give that minus 5k to all your opponent's Digimon. Same way the Venusmon works. It's just a blanket effect, always in effect. So they can't do on play like rookies that search, right? Because the minus 5k hits them before their effect, their on play search effect goes off. So like that kills all that. This hits Red Hybrid pretty decently. They can't promote pretty much any of their rookies out of raising area. Yeah, so it's just super strong for a lot of decks out there right now. Just that big blanket effect, and then turn comes back to you because they really don't have another choice but to pass, and then you just swing with it, and then so it's end of attack. Delete this Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon, and recovery 1. Then, if you have a Tamer in play, hatch 1 Digi-Egg into an empty space in your breeding area. Yeah, he's doing a whole lot, and then on deletion, he does the minus 5k again, which again set your opponent back for another turn. So this is basically a 2-turn, like your opponent can't do anything button for you. So really strong. Gives you recovery, deletes a Digimon of your opponent on your opponent's side of the field, and hatches you an egg if you need that. So yeah, super strong. But also, Death X is still completely viable, right? My only issue with the Ruin mode is you have to Evo on top of your level 6s, which have good effects to just stick around. So if you just want to leave these megas in play, they're still going to continue doing work. But if you Evo them with into the Ruin mode, then you're going to lose out on those effects because he's going to kill himself, and then you're just going to be, lacking. So I think I still prefer the Death X. It doesn't feel as powerful as Ruin mode, but at the same time, I get to keep my other megas and I can still hard play this. So I can get 2 different things. So this is great for that wide board removal. He lowers his play cost there. You de-digivolve your opponent's whole board and then delete all your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon. He also reduces for Tamers in play, so he's a good matchup for like Red Hybrid as well. And then, of course, that end of opponent's turn, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So super strong. Also really nice in conjunction with X Program here, which is one of those cards we were going to talk about. Because while you have a Digimon with Dex or Death X in its name in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. So this is really nice. If you don't have like your Digimon Emperor out, but you have a Death X out, you could still play this guy. And then delete 1 Digimon without X antibody in its traits. If there are 3 or more Digimon in play, delete all Digimon without X antibody in their traits. So if there are 3 or more Digimon, usually that's a field wipe, right? But, in certain cases, you can actually keep some of your stuff. So, very powerful card. It's just something to consider, right? I don't have it in this build right now, but whenever I did play it, the value was there. I did plenty of board wipes with this numerous times. Just the opponent would play into it. I just play X Program, just wipe their whole board. And they're like, that sucks. Okay, yep, that's a card. So, yeah, and this deck doesn't have a whole lot of wide board removal, and that was a big issue that I had whenever I played this before, was against Numemon, and Numemon kept going super wide on me, and so that was kind of an issue. So it is a worthy note that if you're going to run the Death X at your 2 for your level 7s, you probably want to try to work in this X Program as well. I just found it really useful. All right, for our options here, so first up for our kill options, we got Flame Hell Scythe, that classic 6 play cost. One of your opponent's Digimon gets the minus 6k, and then you can play a purple or yellow Digimon card with 6,000 or less, which of course, like 9 times out of 10 is going to be your Magna Angemon for that recovery. So you kill something, and you recover something, and you get a body on field, all for 6 memory. Super strong card. I really missed running this, so happy to have it back into the deck. Just super solid. Keep in mind though, this is playing a Digimon by effect, so if you're playing like a mirror match or someone that's running, text like this, players can't play Digimon by effects, like Pamumon for green, things like that. The DP minus doesn't kill the Digimon until this card finishes resolving. So you do the DP minus, the opponent's Digimon's at 0, and then you do your play Digimon by effect. Now, because the Digimon doesn't die until this card finishes resolving, you can't play a Digimon by an effect if they have something like this. If you're trying to kill like a Pillowmon with Flame Hell's Scythe, you'll kill it, but you won't get to play the Digimon by an effect. So that is a thing, so just kind of keep that in mind. All right, next up, we've got the all-powerful Chaos deck. I think I'm starting to get on this boat of Chaos Dag is a frustrating card, right? 8 play cost, place one of your opponent's Digimon face down at the top or bottom of your opponent's security stack. If you do, trash the top card of their opponent's security stack, right? So you can put it to the bottom, trash the unknown, which is usually the case. But if it's something like really big and really scary, maybe you don't want to like lose your big body swinging into it, you could put it on top and then trash the top. To get it out of there. And then security, you can just place one of your opponent's Digimon to the top or bottom. You don't get the trash effect on the security, but it's still super strong. This card just dodges so much protection. Bandai has been putting in more protection effects that are just more generic. Like if this Digimon would leave the battle area due to an opponent's effect, you can stop it, right? But Chaos Deck still gets around like, I don't know, like 90% of all the protection effects that are out there, because most of them are only bounce to hand, bottom deck, or deleted by an effect. So Chaos Deck just dodges all those protective effects. It's so strong. And that's really my only issue with it, right? It's just the fact that it dodges so much protection effects that, this card came out after those protection effects were made. Next, we got the Lone Key, which is very similar to Chaos Deck. It's another 8 play cost. If you have 3 or more security, you can do a minus 12,000, which is kind of like a Wyvern's Breath, but a little bit weaker. But because of that, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, put one of your opponent's Digimon face down on top of their security stack. So kind of like a Chaos Deck in that regard, right? You don't get of course, you don't get to trash a card out of their security stack, and you don't get to choose top or bottom. But again, Lone Key dodges a lot of the same protection effects that Chaos Deck does. And if you're at that perfect sweet spot where this is where you have exactly 3 security, you get both effects, and then that's just straight value town. Now you do have to do it in that exact order though, so be careful with that. Sometimes that does come up and it does kind of bite you in the butt. I've played this before and I had to kill something that had an on deletion effect where I really wanted to put it in security, and I didn't have another target to do the minus 12 on. So unfortunately I had a minus 12 on it, and then it died and got its on deletion effect, and I couldn't put it in security. So just kind of keep that in mind. It is a bit of a bummer, but it's still such a powerful card, like no contest. Another kill option, of course, is Wyvern's Breath, which is the minus 15,000 DP for the turn. This card's kind of creeping back up. Again, Leviamon, it doesn't really have DP boost to it. It's just a big, like, beefy 14k body, the Leviamon X, of course, with all that security tank. So Wyvern's Breath really messes that card up pretty good. So, it's, of course, another choice that you can look at here as a removal option if you want more removal into your deck. If maybe you want to cut Holy Wave, right? I love Holy Wave, though. Just that 6 play cost, recover 1. It's kind of, you're setcon. That I don't think this card really needs explaining. You want to get as many kill options, basically, into security as possible, as well as just prevent your opponent from being able to kill you. Hitting it in security and just getting that recovery just always feels like good value. So yeah, 4 of Holy Wave. I've tried less. No, 4 of for sure. We do have the 1 reinforcing memory boost. Unfortunately, only at 1 of, but still super strong. It's similar to Holy Wave. It's a 6 play cost. You get to put something in security, but the thing is, you reveal the 2 cards so you and your opponent know what's going to your hand and what's going to the top of your security. So similar to Holy Wave, but without the blind randomness to it, right? And then you get that delay gain 3 memory, which is super strong. Like literally, this card could have just not had the delay effect, and it would still be worth running, right? It probably wouldn't be put to 1 then, but still though, 6 play cost, reveal 2, put 1 to security, put 1 to hand. I would still play it. For our Tamers here, of course, we're rocking the Karis. I know that a lot of people are kind of still calling for this to get hit. It is really strong. When a card is removed from security stack, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. by itself, it's not that bad, right? Like a single Kari isn't super impactful. The issue is when you get 3 to 4 of them in play, that it becomes a nightmare, because you get 4, even if your opponent has a memory fixer, they swing in, they check 1 security, you tap all 4 Karis, and you steal their turn, and they didn't even use any of their memory. So that's kind of the issue there. Now for me, whenever I ran this deck, I had the issue of I always struggled to see my purple Tamers, right? If I didn't see my Kari, I often wanted a mulligan just to try to get my Kari to hand, right? Or if I didn't see my Magna Angemon here, I want a mulligan to try to see that card because it's so valuable. So my issue is that I want more purple Tamers. So because we used to run 4 and 4, right? 4 Karis, 4 Mimis, but we've kind of gone away from that a little bit. We've also cut down on our like purple options that we need in the deck, because when Lone Key came out, that kind of cut down on the amount of purple we needed. But I would still like at least 6 purple Tamers to help facilitate our stuff. Getting your Flame Hell Scythe online as soon as possible, getting your Chaos Dags online as soon as possible. Like, those are literally 2 of the most powerful option cards in your deck, especially in conjunction, that Flame Hell Scythe with the Magna Angemon. That is one of the most powerful engines in this entire deck. And if you don't have your purple Tamer in play, you're locking yourself out, and it sucks. So I wanted to put 2 Mimis back in here. It's also just a really strong card. Just when when a player uses an option card, you can suspend it to gain 1 memory. Make your own option cards cheaper, or turn off some of your opponent's cards like Hammer Spark, right? You can just turn that off and they can't use it, basically, because you're just going to suspend the Mimi to gain that memory right back. As well as you just make some of their options more expensive, which will cause them to pass turn prematurely, especially if they're not paying attention to what you have. So I love Mimi. I think she's a really powerful card, and she's only a 2-drop, which is super good. Yeah, she would be an easy 3-drop, I think. Like, if she was made again today, I think she'd be a 3-drop, because I think she's that good. Next up, we've got TK and Kari, the Duo Tamer. I feel like this could be a flex spot. You could run the Memory Fixer TK if you wanted, just to be able to search your security and add some yellow out of there. But this card for me is like a deterrent card, right? I slap this down like turn 1. If you have fewer security than your opponent, gain 2 memory. That just makes your opponent not want to attack you, because they're like, well, I don't want you to have all that memory. I can build up my field a little bit, and yeah. Sure, you can try that, and I'm going to kill everything that you put out there, especially if you're running X program, right? They put 3 bodies on field, and you're like, okay, X program, kill all of them. Let's try again. So, great deterrent card. Absolutely incredible. Also, when one of your yellow Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to have one of your opponent's Digimon get minus 1000 DP for the turn. Actually kind of relevant, because there's surprisingly a good amount of rookies in this game, like especially the Searcher rookies that are 1k, and a single TK Kari will kill it, and so you don't even have to like put any like serious major thought into how to remove this like 1 extra security check that they might have, right? So, TK and Kari, really nice. Great deterrent card for sure. Now, next up, we've got the Digimon Emperor. It took me a long time to get on this boat, right? This card is so good, though. Like, once I finally started running it, I could never go back, right? So, all turns, when one of your opponents level 5 or lower Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to draw 1, which we can do that all the time, right? That's kind of the point of our deck. We're setcon. We're here to delete your opponent's Digimon. And then opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from the breeding area to their battle area, gain 2 memory. So this is a hardcore counter for Red Hybrid, right? Because they're always like, let me promote my Ukamon, or let me promote up this, Flamemon here and trigger my Ukamon, things like that. Digimon Emperor's like, nah, let's not do that. So he's a really strong card. So 2 of him. Feels super solid. Like, you only ever need to really see 1 in play, and you're totally comfortable with that. He also, of course, turns on your X programs here. If you don't have your Death X, you can have your Digimon Emperor, and you can still use your X program. Yeah, Just a super good card. Now we're going to get into kind of the, these are more just simple techs. I know I'm not normally a one-of guy, but I will have to say that in this situation, I'm fine with it because of the way these, particularly these two cards, interact with each other. So Avenged Kidmon is your emergency, I'm going to deck out before my opponent will button, and you just slam this guy down, and you and your opponent put all your option cards back into your deck. Yeah. And so then if 7 or more cards are returned using this, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3 Musketeers trait or 8,000 DP or less. So he's a nice little kill something card as well. But really, it's to put options back in. I played a game with a guy, and we were both running setcon, and it was crazy because we both kept Avenged Kidmoning each other. And kept putting all of our options back. And how do you keep doing it? Well, you run Lament of Friendship. So while you have a Tamer of Matt, you can ignore this color requirements. It's okay. We got our purples here. Return one of your Digimon card from your trash to your hand. Then one of your Digimon. Doesn't matter. We're not running Garurumon. This is just a 3 play cost. Return one Digimon card from your trash to your hand. So this is, of course, an option card. So you use Avenged Kidmon to put this card back in the deck. Avenged Kidmon dies. You draw into Lament of Friendship. You play it. You add Avenged Kidmon back. Lament of Friendship goes to trash. You hard play Avenged Kidmon. All your options go back into the deck, including Lament of Friendship. Avenged Kidmon dies at some point, somehow, ends up in the trash. You draw into Avenged Kid or into Lament again. You wait till your deck is getting low, and it's a never-ending loop, you see? And yeah, so you can get away with running these at just one of because they kind of just cycle each other pretty well. As long as you have one of them in rotation, like in your hand, you're fine. So yeah, very powerful, very needed in a lot of matchups. So really strong. And then just closing out the final card in the deck. This has been a new addition for setcon as well as kind of a lot of decks, honestly. This has been a pretty popular 1 or 2 of. I debated trying to fit this in here at a 2 of, but I don't know, nothing really felt too right. Again, if I want to cut a Magna Angemon Ace, I could maybe cut a Holy Wave as well, bump this guy up to 2. And I would feel okay with that. Like, I could drop those guys down and still feel like I'm in a good position just to have 2 of this. So when you would play this Digimon from hand, if you have no Digimon, reduce the play cost by 2 for every 5 total cards in both players' trash. Again, we're setcon, like 30 plus cards in our trash, 30 plus cards in our opponent's trash, just from super long attrition games. And this guy becomes super, super cheap. So again, 30 each. What is that? 6, so times 2, that's 12. So it's a 1 play cost here. And then on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If no Digimon is deleted, delete one of your opponent's 13,000 DP or more. So that's really good. And it's not once per turn. So then immediately you play this for 1, do that effect, and then swing, do the effect again. And yeah, so this is a really good kind of like late game win con for you that you can just kind of go to town with. That's why I debated running it as a 2 of, because it's almost like a pseudo win con for the deck. You're just here to stall out as long as possible, to have this big attrition game, and then kind of whittle your opponent down like your Salamons and things like that, maybe your Magna Angemons, and then just close the game out with a Gallantmon. So pretty powerful. He's been pretty popular as a 1 of. I'm okay with him as a 1 of. I would like to have him as a 2 of though. So maybe I will finally give in and drop one of these guys down and bump the Gallantmon up. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Again, if you made it this far, please like the video. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps out the algorithm a ton, as well as subscribe to the channel. If you're not already and you just listen to me talk and babble for 30 minutes, please subscribe to the channel because you clearly enjoy something about what I'm putting out.